Hi
Yeah.
everyone. Hello, the NeverSayDice Patreon. Thank you for supporting. It's of course Logan, Jacob, and Alan.
Woo!
Woo! Sharn Nights after.
Hello, everyone.
Hello everyone. Here to answer some of your burning questions about their characters in Sharn, the world of Sharn, or about the more meta, ethereal stuff about how they make characters and how they view D&D and role playing and stuff. We're gonna try to keep this at a shorter time span. We're not good at that. We're never good at that, but we will do our
It's all right.
best.
Yeah, who's our timekeeper?
I'll do my best. Like
Okay.
when we did this with Travis and Xavier, we had questions we wanted to answer, but then we still ended up talking for a long time.
Do you want me to pull up the questions?
I already have the questions pulled up. So I'll ask you guys.
I
these
added
questions.
to it today.
I see that. Thank you very much, my executive producer, Jacob Todd.
Hi, Captain.
So what we'll do is we'll start with questions, and we'll just see how far we get. Once we hit the 30-minute mark, I'll start kind of signaling.
It's Rocket League time. Get off the mic.
It is Rocket League time, baby. Anyway, the first question, this is one from a little while ago, and you can either answer this from the perspective of Donavan or Julian, or for your one-shot characters, or for Alan, the case of Wendeline, or I guess now Killian, or Roman. If one of your characters was sent to space, which one would be able to survive the longest before begging to come back? Now, that's the kicker. Not who would just survive the longest, but who could last the longest before begging to come back. Eberron.
That's like such. I feel like for me, both of my characters would do terribly in that instance because Donovan has a daughter to think about, and Julian is a character so deeply rooted in trauma that like being by himself would be horrible for him. Like the whole reason he has the clinic is it is for the benefit of society as a whole and like to heal people because that's what he cares about, but it's also to distract him from the horrible storm of trauma that he has experienced.
Whew.
Like we didn't really get into it a lot in the sessions because it was a side story, and that's fine because it'd be like that. But Julian suffered a lot of PTSD and went through a lot of horrible things in his life. So he tried to solve that by like drinking a lot, which we kind of alluded to. And ultimately he decided that the best way to like distract himself from how horribly scarred he was as an individual was to just work a lot. So
Being
which is
away
funny
from that
enough,
work would be hard.
Yeah, and so funny enough, that's something that him and Donovan have in common is working a lot to avoid thinking too much about the past. But I think both of them would equally be not in a great position in like being by themselves. Which maybe that's like a little bit of the creator's flaws in them. Because I know like myself as Jacob would be horrible at being by himself for long periods of time. Because I'm a social being. I need to be able to talk to people and be reminded that I do exist outside of my own consciousness. So I don't know. It's a toss-up. Probably Donovan would crack first, just in the fact that he has family that exists.
Fair. That makes sense. Yeah. Alan, what's your vote? You have three characters to pick from.
Yes, and
greedy bastard.
I think I have a good enough answer for each one. I think of the three, Wendeline would actually be the first to hit the button and say, "Let me go home."
Oh, really? I was thinking she'd be the longest. Well, never mind. Continue.
And the thing is, yeah, when you first asked that, I was like, maybe Wendeline, but like Roman, I've always seen him as like a thrill seeker. So I feel like he would probably, it would be neck and neck with him and Killian, and because Killian is, and I showed some of the background of like the veteran stuff to you, Logan, and for Jacob, um, part of, when Killian was in the war, he basically functioned in this like shock trooper type unit, or like similar to like the German shock troopers or like the American paratroopers of World War II, just kind of going behind enemy lines and being used to being surrounded by the enemy and just in an uncomfortable space for a long period of time. And so I think with Killian, he would last probably the longest, I don't know. And then maybe Roman, because he enjoys the adrenaline and the rush. And I was thinking Wendeline, well, she's already had a pretty frightening experience having like free falling in the sky onto a stage or a sky coach by pure something happens luck.
Yeah.
And I
also,
think she is
the time that you guys were in Little Barovia and you started getting like claustrophobic down there in that deep part of the city, and she couldn't handle that kind of pressure.
Yeah. And I think Wendeline, she functions very well in areas that she's comfortable with, that she's lived in and is used to. But a lot of the newer environments and a lot of these experiences she's had in the campaign are starting to wear down a little bit.
Yeah. Hey. The next question I asked to Xavier and Travis too, and honestly, it can be removed from the sheet now. The question is, Oleg, what the fuck? And now we know. Oleg, what the fuck?
The answer was trauma all along.
The answer was trauma all along. The next one that I asked Xavier and Travis as well, because it's an interesting third-person perspective kind of question. Either as you guys in real life or as your characters at the time, do you think Bob will ever find love again?
As Julian, I will say, Bob has an energy about him that attracts good things, and I think that if he keeps up his positive attitude, he will definitely find something that will make him happy, whether it be love or just a job or a new pair of pants. He will be happy again.
Yeah, those slim fit khakis.
Keggings.
Julian will give the therapist answer. Like, he is capable of being happy again.
He has the potential, yeah.
Roman, which will be said in my voice because I can't do voices.
It's alright. I didn't even do a voice. I just talked it was just my voice.
Roman would say absolutely 100% yes. He has to find someone, because if he doesn't, I don't know if there's hope in the world. Like a guy like that, Bobby needs a win.
Bobby needs a win. That's it. There it is, folks. There it is. Bobby does need a win.
Everything Bob has done was through pure will, perseverance, a slight bit of rage, and that's gotta be enough.
That's enough. That's it right there. I love it. Bobby needs a win. This one, Jacob, you just touched on. This was one that Alan had actually asked. He probably doesn't remember asking it because it's Alan, and that's how he is. But Alan asked, what is the highest / most inebriated Julian has ever been? And you mentioned just a little while ago about how Julian had turned to alcohol and things like that. What is the highest or most inebriated Julian has ever been?
I remember Alan asking that question. I was like, fuck! That's a bad question.
So now, if you need a moment to think, Alan, what caused you to ask this? What spawned this, if you recall? Or was it just like a throwaway, like because you noticed that Julian wasn't drinking or anything, so you just kind of...
Well, that, and yeah, someone that, clearly is trying to remain sober. And also just kind of based on like his life choices, running a clinic
Mhm.
and not charging people. There had to have been some
So
kind
what
of
was the
catalyst.
thing? What's the
Yeah, what was the big rub? So I was just curious about it.
I guess to answer that question, I think that like as soon as like the 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 last war was over, uh he probably would have like returned home, and the rest of like the Jarosco family would have been like, "You're a hero. You saved all these people. You did all these good things." But Julian would have been very like downtrodden. Like, I killed people. Like, people died, and I did it to save other people, but people are still dead.
Mm.
And I think that goes into what I kind of touched on whenever we were talking to the criminals in our case about when Julian was like, life isn't like a joke. Like, you can't just kill people and think that, oh, it's okay, I can bring them back. Like, magic is not a tool for you to just facilitate like your ends that way. Because he saw himself like he used his magic to kill people. Yes, he used it to save other people, but like people are still dead. And whenever he got back, he probably would have turned to alcohol to cope with that, just because when someone experiences trauma and doesn't know how to facilitate that trauma in like a healthy way, they're gonna do whatever it takes to feel like they're okay. And I feel like Julian would have gotten back and like the week after just been drunk the entire time, just trying to do his best to forget the horrible atrocities that he had seen happen, not only that he did, but like that other people had done. And after the fact, would have like just woken up with a hangover one day after just going on like a crazy bender by himself, and just woke up and be like, I gotta do better for myself. Like, all these people that died needed to have died for a reason, and I'm not doing their sacrifice any justice by drinking this stuff and feeling this way. And I guess in a more selfish way, it would have been like, I need to redeem myself for the things that I participated in. So he probably would have had one night, like a week or two after the war ended, when he came home, and it was supposed to be a celebration, but instead of going out with like his squad mates that survived, he would have just been by himself and gotten just disgusting drunk, woken up the next day and been like, I gotta do better. And then probably worked on opening the clinic like the next week.
Getting that Jarasco fund money
and I'm sure that like a lot of people in his family would have been like, you gotta charge. And he'd be like, nope, can't do it.
No.
And it kind of goes into his motivations from joining like the investigative thing anyway, is that there's more than one way to heal the city. But that's, I guess, the answer to that question. Is kind of deep.
No,
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
And one of the we talked about it in that sort of side arc, which is one of the reasons I like doing those side stories, is that we can explore the more aspects of the setting. And one of those was the Dream Lily that Roman had taken from those college kids who were getting high in the crypt. Like, in the war, it is absolutely exactly parallel to morphine. In the war, it was a pain reliever and a way to quickly, safely perform surgeries and stuff on people during the last war. And as a war surgeon, Julian would have absolutely dealt with that kind of stuff, and not necessarily used it himself, but used that as a pain reliever. And then, of course, after the war, in your own state, also seeing people that you may have served with, or seeing people that have served, abusing and now addicted or using morphine Dream Lily, and which was also sort of a tool for you to heal and save. And I'm sure, again, seeing that in the crypt was doubly as hard. And acquiring
And
it yourself.
I kind of wish I had made that parallel in the moment, but it's just that, and I guess that even more so that meant a lot that Roman was like, "Here, take this."
You could do a lot of good with that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention a couple of points. One, I know that, like back in like the World Wars and stuff, I know sometimes that when soldiers were like essentially too far gone, they would administer like basically an overdose of morphine,
yeah, lethal,
just to make it a more painless, easier death. And I want to backtrack on when I said the word catalyst, and I know with addiction, for some people it is like a single event that does lead to addiction, but sometimes it is, I just want to mention, sometimes it is a gradual process, and it's not always like one morning you wake up and say, oh, I'm addicted. For some people it's more nuanced than that, but yeah.
Woof. Man. And I was gonna say,
I want to say that that whole like not drinking thing was something that I came up with in the moment. Like, it was not a thing that I had planned. It was just a thing that I'd like made sense to me because of like, I know how PTSD works in real life. That's like a thing that a lot of people that have military service do, because a lot of times our government does not take care of the people that it sends to do these things.
Yeah.
And it was in no means meant to like make light of that, but it's a sensitive subject matter, and I hoped I approached it in a way that was not like made light of it, but
yeah, I thought it fit Julian well, and that you approached it respectfully.
And I just thought that it was one of those things that it made him a more compelling character, but also like that's how it is in real life. Like, a lot of times people come home and they're like, this is the drink is what I have because of the horrible things that I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always, we had this conversation very early on with Carson as well, talking about creating a character and role-playing a character that has anxiety and struggles with that. You know, it's always just something that, as long as you approach it in good faith, like, you can explore that kind of stuff. And that's what I love about this group. We're all comfortable doing that kind of stuff and being able to communicate and talk about it. I love it. Good. Let's see. The next one. This was asked tonight by Daniel Buchan. Love him. See him in our Shadows Over Drift Chopper campaign next Friday. Again, you guys can take whatever liberties as far as which character you brainstorm with. The question was, verbatim, if your character had a Florida Man headline in the newspaper about them, what would it say? And I know Jacob knows this, and Alan laughing, I figure you know what the Florida Man headlines are. For any of my patrons who don't know, just Google Florida Man, and
like your birthday.
Yeah, and your birthday. Literally any day, and
Or honestly, you'll probably see something like in the news.
Yeah, has been someone who has done something obscenely ridiculous and gotten in trouble for it on your birthday. And that's usually what a Florida Man headline is. Like, if, Google, Florida Man, November 8th, 1992, and, you'll get something like,
Florida Man sues baby.
Exactly. Florida Man sues alligator for eating baby. Like, something unbelievable. So, you two, if there was a Florida Man headline written about any of your characters, who would it be and what would it be? I assume Julian's not in that, because Julian's a little good egg who would, And Donavan, as a journalist, what?
What? Okay, so there was a challenge going a while back that was like, you look up your birthday in Florida Man and see what is posted. And one of my favorite, the one for my birthday, is Florida Man promises to turn himself in after doing crime. And I just think that that's really funny, just to be like, hey, I'm about to rob a store. I'm gonna turn myself in. Just let me do it. Let me finish my business, and I will come back. Slap the cuffs on me. I'm done.
Yo, that is Donovan through and through.
I gotta look at my Florida.
That's what's funny. Is just like, you can arrest me, but
Just let me
go
it.
see what this murderer is about.
That's
over
literally
here.
what happened. You're like, fine, do your jobs, but let me do it.
Let me do my job.
Jesus. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Alan.
I really wish I was playing Anton still.
Anton was a cook halfling that Alan played.
Florida man breaks into kitchen,
cooks
all the
5-course
burgers
meal.
in McDonald's kitchen before being arrested.
Florida man cooks 5-course meal for cops arresting him.
I just looked at
Murders 5 on site, then cooks burgers for the cops arresting him.
Florida man attacked sister, bit cop after someone touched his cigar, police say.
Oh, is that the one for your birthday?
Yeah. I feel like most likely would be Roman. Just
Oh yeah.
and I kind of imagine like during his I don't know what you want to call it, like exile or something basically. He was like in like, you know, bumfuck Eberron, you know, like
The true
Some-
Davidson County of Eberron.
Davidson
some yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming at you, Davidson County. I
Where
know you
from?
suck.
Yep.
I live in you.
It sucks. I live in you. I'm inside you. You suck. Anyway, bumfuck Eberron, Roman.
That was it.
What would what would his headline be? What would the?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I imagine Roman. I don't know if you ever saw that article that the person was selling checks, like blank checks that you could
Yeah.
withdraw for any amount,
Wait,
and the
what?
guy sold it to someone.
It was.
I imagine
yeah.
Roman was the person that like bought that check and like went to the cashier and was like, "I'd like to withdraw $1,000, please."
Yeah, after he found out he had no health insurance.
He's like, well, I don't got no money to my name. Might as well. This guy's offering me a blank check for 10 gold. Might as well.
Yeah, I don't have a record yet.
I don't have a record.
That's
in
a
this
real
kingdom
thing, by
yet.
the way.
Yeah, I know. I
That's
remember
real.
that. That was fucking wild.
Yeah, can you explain this to me? I don't understand.
No, okay, so there was a person that was selling blank checks that apparently could be withdrawn for any amount, and somebody bought that check for like $1,000 or something, or $100 or some. It doesn't matter the amount, but they went to the bank and they had put down the amount of like $10 billion or something that's like ridiculous.
Oh my god.
And they had like been like, "Here you go, cashier. I'd like to withdraw $10 billion." And the people at the bank were like, "Haha, okay.
Jail.
Yes, police. There's a man who's in dire need of jail."
He's low on vitamin J.
Yes, officer. Let me just send you a picture of this check.
Direct deposit.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened. It was some guy like on the side of the street was like, "Would you like to buy a check that you can withdraw for infinite money?"
That is amazing.
Yeah, and that seems like something like after Roman leaves the bank, some guy's like, "Hey man, you want to buy a voucher for 10,000 gold? You just have to take it to the bank and cash it." And you'd be like, "I mean, yeah, I guess."
Yeah, alright.
Or oh, I forgot my fish name. Hurley. I think. it
Yeah,
was
no one
Hurley.
cares about Hurley. Shut the fuck up.
I feel like the cops would probably call on him for trying to administer CPR because it might look like he's trying to eat somebody, you know?
For
Alan, I hate you.
those of my patrons who do not recall, for Jacob's birthday, we did a nice one-shot.
Nice.
That where Alan made a terrifying fish person. I don't even remember what your class was, but it's what's
Lakota.
Yeah, but
I
what was
think
your...
it's
Was it?
Yeah, what was your
Is the
class?
VOD saved?
The VOD is not saved.
Yeah, you were like, cast that abomination to the abyss.
That's exactly...
We don't need to worry about it.
It might still be active, but I doubt it is.
You should save it just for posterity's
For the memes.
sake.
That is amazing.
But anyway, that's what spawned. I don't think Alan subscribes to my Patreon, but on my Patreon, I released the
Alan's a
Paladin
bastard.
Oath of the Life or Oath of the Water's Edge, the lifeguard themed subclass, based off of Alan's shitty idea.
Basing a
It's great
subclass after
idea.
Alan's shitty idea when he doesn't even subscribe to your Patreon.
I know. What a not
It's
terrible.
a dude committed to saving lives. It's the purest.
But
beauty of
Alan's
all.
not committed to subscribing to your content.
So
How much is it?
It's $4.
$1.
It's a Wendy's 4 for $4 or $1. That made Rachel laugh. Final question.
That's what I say every time. It's
Wendy's
a Wendy's
4
4
for
for 4.
I could go for some. Anyways, can't talk about Wendy's.
Yo, me too.
We're not sponsored.
You want to go to Wendy's after this?
I would love to. The final question is technically for me, but I would like to extend it to the other DM, Jacob, and also for
Ooh.
Alan, who is the person who is constantly pushing my buttons as the DM as far as what I will and will not allow. The question is, what is the decision-making process behind the dun-dun-duns and the something happens? Now, the dun-dun-duns are something new, and there are somewhat sort of pseudo tables in the Eberron book that have guided my decisions. Let me actually. I'll see if I can quickly pull them up.
Can
Is
you
it always,
describe
like-
what a dun 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 it actually is like in your mind?
Yes, dun-dun-duns are those very classic, stereotypical soap opera, daytime television mystery twists. Like you're meeting an NPC and they're like, I'm secretly your brother. Kind of, dumb bullshit like that.
Yeah, so like soap opera shit.
Exactly, like soap opera shit. Or, if you're thinking of like, Law and Order, Criminal Minds, any of those kind of classic... Yeah, like classic TV mysteries.
Every
Whenever...
ending to a lost episode.
Yeah, when they get to the end of the mystery and they're like, it was secretly the stepmother the whole time, even though we hadn't introduced them as a
Step-bro.
character. Shut up. We hadn't introduced them as a character yet. Like, whatever kind of random bullshit like that.
Thanks, Alan.
Alan thinks you're funny.
Yo, everyone thinks I'm funny. Subscribe to Logan's Patreon.
Subscribe to my Patreon. So, as far as the something happens, these are the ones that I've done for most of this campaign. There is actually a something happens table on the Dungeon Master screen for 5th edition. Pretty much what I do, and I will admit I bend the rules a little bit. If I roll something that just does not fit, like 100%. Like these guys, they were outside doing stuff, and I roll that says the lights go out. That doesn't make sense that they're flying in a sky coach. If it does make sense, then something truly awful is happening, and I am not wanting to accommodate that as a DM. So I'll usually roll again, or I'll usually what I do is I'll roll 2 things and pick from those 2. And that's usually how I decide something happens. I try to wait until there is a moment of downtime. And so, like, if they're in the middle of doing some shit, I'll roll something and I'll keep it in my back pocket until it starts to wind down. Because in Eberron, it's very noir, it's very constant action, and so I wait till the action starts to slow down, and then wham! Throw it in there again and keep them moving. And that's kind of what happened this time. Same with the dun-dun-duns. The dun-dun-duns are a little more... I have to prepare for those. I usually try to hold those till the end of the session, so that way it's a bit of a cliffhanger. It gives me time to prepare for whatever stupid-ass twist I throw in. So, for example, during these Sharn Nights new hires side stories, the first dun-dun-dun I'd prepared for was if Dr. Zero died, his soul would go into Dr. Zero Jr., and he would keep playing. It didn't end up happening because of Dr. Julian's healing words and things like that. Thanks, Jacob. However, the actual...
Oh no, the doctor did his job.
Whenever we reached the end of the session, there was not really a great opportunity to throw in an additional dun-dun-dun. I had a second idea that whenever they were like, we have to drop off the body at the local Sharn Watch garrison, local morgue. And then very quickly, I started thinking, oh, that morgue is the same one that Katarina Orden was taken to earlier that day. And I was like, what if I throw in a dun-dun-dun about the first case, because we're going back to that case next week? And it sort of just spiraled from there as they were sort of discussing and figuring out what they were going to do morally. They're over here talking about, should we drop off the parents' bodies for arrest? Should we kill them? Should we do this? And I'm over here like, oh man, who is whose brother? Oh man, how should, whose parents should come in? Like, you know, whatever else. And so it's very, it just depends, but it's also about timing. Giving me enough time to accommodate for the twist. For this session in particular, spoiler for my players.
Oh no.
I sort of made it easy on myself. Sorry for whoever did something happen.
Oh no.
Who did it? Or the something, it was Austin. Sorry, Austin. I made it easy on myself. It's been a hard week, but it worked out. Originally, I feel bad saying this because I feel like Todd's gonna be like, God damn it! Originally,
I'm gonna say it anyway.
you would have had enough time to get the information you needed at that pub. The event that is happening right now, the Iago messaging Spike saying, hey, this thing is happening. That was going to happen until like 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was going to happen until later that evening. And then that dun-dun-dun happened. And because of that, I decided, you know what? I'm going to move that timeline up. I'm going to make it fall right at the time that Donavan has to make the decision of finding more information, accompanying everyone else to Galanda Hall, or going and speaking to them to send that message. So I had, like, very quickly, I was like, you know what? Rather than come up with something, an additional twist on top of that extra wrench in the plans, I'm just going to make that, I'm just going to tighten it up even more, make it even more of a decision to make in that moment. And so I took the easy way out, but in that way, I upped the tension of that moment, of that decision to be made.
Fuck!
Yeah, so I essentially forced you to either get the information you needed or move on.
I didn't realize that was an
man.
option, to be completely honest.
Nope, yeah. They're pretty much, with how quickly you and Cornelius got in and out, you would have had time. Even with Austin rolling a 4 on that die.
I did not know that. To be honest, that did not come
It
across
was a
to me.
possibility. But because of the dun-dun-dun and Austin rolling too high, not enough time.
The one time Austin rolls too high.
And he was the one that did the dun-dun-dun too. It's all his fault. It is all his fault.
Classic.
And if that
Classic.
hadn't have happened, you guys would have had enough time to just casually message and be like, yeah, we're in. And you would have had a nice subtle meeting and been like, hi, I'm Killian. Nice to meet you. All right, so what do we need to be doing? Let's debrief. But now it's
Great.
right into the thick of things. Trial by fire for all
But
of you.
I will say, I'm calling this right now. All of you that are watching this right now, call it. I have a plan that if we are face to face with the killer, I'm going to fuck up Logan's day. I already thought about it. I have a plan.
You see, here's the
Be
thing.
prepared.
I had that option too. I had planned out an entirely different encounter and scene until about 2 hours before the session. I was like, you know what? Nah. But I was fully prepared also to fuck up your day too. I was fully prepared.
You could have tried.
No, I'm prepared.
And I could have tried. But here's the thing. I have a plan. A plan that you handed me on a silver platter.
Sure I did.
But what? No, here's the thing. Soon we're gonna find out who's gonna fuck up whose day. And if you fuck up my day, it's just because you were the DM, and remember that. So either way,
I have the
I win.
privilege of fucking up your day.
But I have a plan, and it's dirty. and I'm so excited if it comes to fruition. If it doesn't, c'est la vie. But
Mom, Dad, don't fight.
Don't fight.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna try
my
to fuck up your day.
yeah, my mentality for dun dun duns and something happens. Usually I take whatever I have already envisioned for the next scene and advanced it, modified it, done something to it to accommodate whatever I randomly generate on the table. So for example, I think Varian. I had way long ago, when you were breaking into Klein Clove Holler's office, way long ago now at this point, I had already predetermined at some point one of these student messengers was going to give him a notification saying, hey, your advisor wants to meet with you. But then I randomly rolled a something happens that said, someone has to go to the bathroom. And so I started like, okay, what if, I mean, you know, you bump into people in the bathroom sometimes. And so that's how I delivered that thing. So I sort of just kind of predetermined like little touchstones of things to happen. And then depending on how people do dun dun duns or something happens, I mesh them all together and we go forth. And Alan, who is an agent of chaos, just gives me ammunition to do that with.
An agent of chaos?
Yeah.
It sounded like you said Asian of
No,
chaos.
agent of
That
chaos.
sounded like.
No, agent.
It sounded like you said Asian.
Well,
of chaos.
I mean, I guess
I
that
take
too.
it either way.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but also interesting.
No, agent of chaos, but also I guess as well. So yeah.
Alan Zhang, Asian of chaos.
On that note, if we're in the last, you know, we're already at 37 minutes, so we're a little over our time. You mentioned talking about alignments. We're not going to talk about alignments without giving any context. Jacob, what is your go-to favorite alignment to play? No context, no explanation. What's your go-to favorite alignment?
I like chaotic good a lot.
Chaotic good. That's a good one. Alan, when you make a character, what is your go-to favorite alignment to play?
I like to start neutral good.
Oh, well, that's a little...
That's my second.
That's
my second
insight
favorite.
into Alan. I like it. I like it. Mine's lawful neutral. It tracks in weird ways. So, thank you guys. That's all of our questions. We're already at 38 minutes, so I don't want to take up too much time. It's very late at this point. So thank you guys. Any final remarks, I guess?
I'm a patron now.
I think I got that email. Alan, thank you so much for supporting. Alan, how's your
Yeah.
internship going and your project about D&D and role-playing stuff?
Internship is great. I haven't really dove into that stuff yet, because the rest of the internship is happening. But
That's
yeah,
fine. Makes sense.
and also just kind of like expanding my toolbox to see like how I want to do the project part.
And Alan, if I can help you in any way with your project, let me know.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So thank you guys for sitting down and doing this super freaking late. But
It's not that late.
thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Thank you, Alan. for
Yeah,
supporting.
dude.
Bully more people into the Patreon.
It took me so long because I've never been to the Patreon website. So I
Yeah,
had to-
it's a thing. I mean, it's similar to Carson. Like, he was like, yeah, I just haven't done it because, like, I'm just dragging my feet on it. And I'm like, that's fair. I drag my feet on a lot of stuff. So I get it. It makes sense. So thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we hope to do some more in the future. Keep asking questions during our stream, and we will answer them. Lots of fun. Some of them are very sad, some of them are very fun. So keep it up. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see everyone hopefully next week. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Sharn Nights.